morning, everyone. It is me, Sailor Minimoon, Reenie here, and today I'm going to talk about the how did Viz Sailor Moon get any hate? Now, first off, we already talked about the Deke and the Cloverway and the Pioneer and Renaissance Atlantic and no Sailor Moons getting hate, but did the Viz Sailor Moon get any hate? And it would be a double standard, you know, by the Sailor Moon followership, because they'll go around and they'll say that the Viz Sailor Moon is the greatest offshoot of English Sailor Moon out there, you know. But then that's bullshit. Forgive me for saying that, but it's true. They had a double standard. I mean, they hated Deke, Cloverway, Pioneer, Renaissance Atlantic, and now they're going to say that Viz is the greatest one out there and not have anything to get mad about. Well, that's a lie, because I know there'd be some stuff about it that they would hate. First off, the show playing. That is the first thing that they will bitch about, because they weren't happy with the folks that did it with Deke or Cloverway or Pioneer, or the folks that show played it in Renaissance Atlantic. They sadly would bitch about the show playing at Viz. Oh, that isn't how I think the cell should talk like. As far as names go, all the Dawnlandish names are kept, so they wouldn't be bitching about that. The strike names have been kept, so they wouldn't be bitching about that. Stead names have been kept, so they wouldn't have been bitching about that or ranting about that. And yes, in this one, anyone who's unstraight, well, they're still unstraight. So they wouldn't have to show play that they were angry about that. But at the end of the day, it would be bullshit to say that they would like it. You know? Because they spent many years hating every English offshoot of Sailor Moon there was, so they're not going to shift their mind and love this one. You know? And Viz's offshoot of Sailor Moon has been around since 24 Between YL, and two offshoots, the Crystal or Hearst, which and also the new English offshoot of all five followings. So at the end of the day, I don't think they would be happy with it. They would always seek something about it that they didn't like, or well, I know some stuff that they would rant and bitch about. Oh, there's too many followings. It's all filler, you know. I want to get right to the fight, you know, right to the good stuff. Yeah, well, that's something they would bitch about. Many followings being filler leading up to when, you know. But at least some things they couldn't bitch about how at the end free followings became free followings at the end. They couldn't bitch about, you know, Zoisite being a woman, because in this offshoot, Zoisite's a man. They could not bitch about names or strikes or stead names, because all those have been kept, you know. So they wouldn't have that to bitch about. And they would get, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't be happy with it, because once again, the show playing or the speaking or whatever you want to call it wouldn't be up to their standard, you know. And it'd probably bitch about how they yield for so many years to get this offshoot of Sailor Moon, you know. Why couldn't this be the Sailor Moon they got back in the day, instead of Deke and Cloverway and Pioneer? And well, we can't really say Renaissance Atlantic, because their Sailor Moon, or at least what, never saw the light of day until about 2 months ago. So anyway, yeah, they would have things about they wouldn't like. Some of them would pull the double standard and say that Viz Sailor Moon was the greatest Sailor Moon out there and it wouldn't get any hate from anyone, but that'd be a lie. You know? So how did every offshoot of Sailor Moon get hate? I don't know. I know they like to go around and make fun of. I like to go around and and put down everyone else for either liking Deke or Cloverway or Pioneer or whatever, and behaving as if they're the greatest Sailor Moon followers out there because they love the Viz one. But no, at the end of the day, they hate the Viz one too because there are some things about the Viz one they wouldn't like. You know, they'd probably bitch, like I said, or rant about being way too many followings, and too many followings. They'd bitch about the filler. They'd offshoot, yeah, that's what they would do. Following one had a lot of followings, which, would be filler in their mind. They'd bitch about the first following having too many followings. They'd also, bitch about the show playing, so they'd bitch about that. Then they'd also bitch about why a lot of why a lot of followings were cut and why they had to see it for the first time. Well, they couldn't. Yeah, at the end of the day, they couldn't bitch about the fighting because all the fighting's there. You know, they couldn't bitch about half of the following being gone because all the followings of all 5 followings and the sagas in them were all there. But so at the end of the day, they would not be happy with it. There'd be things about it that they would bitch about. The show playing, too many followings, which at first they would think would be a good thing for them, but then they'd get angry over it and say, I want to get to the good one, whatever. So they'd bitch about that. You know? So at the end of the day, I don't know if the Viz Sailor Moon would get any hate from them, and the answer would be yes, only for the show playing. Because once again, they would say the show players aren't living up to their standards of what they think these cells should talk like. Even though they couldn't bitch about followings being cut out, things being cut out of sagas. They couldn't bitch about names instead and strike names being shifted or anything like that. But at the end of the day, they would bitch. Anyway, they would be angry at it. They would hate it in some way. So, well, that is the end of how did all the Sailor Moon sagas, Sailor Moon English works get hate? Going from Deke to Cloverway to Pioneer to Renaissance Atlantic and now to Viz. If you like this film, then follow me over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the last film I made yesterday over here. I, Sailor Mini Moon Rainy, and I'll see you later. Bye.